Hello, everybody. I'm really excited about our Arise conference. This is our 5th annual Arise conference, but only the second one that we will be having in person. And yes, for those who won't be able to make it, some portions will be streamed. We will zoom in on those, but not everything, because what we want is an immersion experience. And some of that will be very difficult because we'll be going from museum to museum and from venue to venue. I'm just happy that Maryland joyously welcomes the Arise Conference. It will be between June 15th and June 19th, 2023. Yes, just a few weeks ahead. It is a healing space for people of African descent, a pupil of the eye, family reunion of sorts, focused on nurturing and encouraging people of African descent. And it will be 5 days. You don't have to join us for all of them if you can't, but we'd love to see you. So my program chair, on behalf of my program chair, Olitha Devane, and I, we want to welcome you and invite you to our 5th annual Arise People of the Eye Conference. And there will be programs for children and youth, young adults, and everyone else in between. I'm so excited to share this with you. Now, think of it as a Black family reunion, a healing, nurturing, and encouraging space to connect, celebrate, and collaborate on how we fix our communities. I want to point out you can't do anything like this alone. We've got the Howard County Baha'i community has been amazing in their support. And my co-chair, Olitha Devane, Jerry Peak, is working on a junior children's and youth program. So the thing I want to point out about this page, if you see it, it should be a hyperlink in that you can click on the hotel to reserve your space. We've got 2 hotels, and I want to tell you we've got a limitation, I think, by the end of May, or just a few days in order to guarantee these prices. I think for the Hilton, they're guaranteeing it for the 25th, and for the Hyatt, I think the Hilton is to 28th and Hyatt is the 25th. Anyway, register. The thing is, register, get your hotel room quickly. There is a form there's a link here that you can click on also to pre-register. When I say pre-register, it's giving me indications about how many people are coming. There is a lot of work that has to go into putting these conferences together, especially if we want to be as to show the hospitality we would love to show. So please click right here, and you'll see there's a click right there. It says pre-register now. Now with this communication, you probably also have the official registration also. Now the Hyatt has free breakfast for everyone. So let's say you have 5 in a room, all 5 get breakfast free. If you go to the Hilton, it's $115. It's less, but each person will pay individually for their breakfast, around $10-15. They say it's a great breakfast. Your choice. Now, we have got a lot of confirmed speakers for this conference. Remember, it is in person. There will be also, I'm also waiting for confirmation from other people. We've got Dr. Joy DeGrew, we've got Michael O'Neill, we've got Sue St. Clair, Olitha Devane, we've got Calvin Terrell, OMG. Myself, my daughter Radiance, and my son Sean will also be presenting. We've got Keturah Felix, who is with the Griot's Beat, that will be sharing. We've got Dr. Jerry Peak, and she will be sharing also about liberation. And we've got Todd Ewing, Tadia Rice from Hawaii will be coming in to sharing the work that she just got an award with her video about women in prison. And we've got Toya. We've got Mary Okonkwo. She will be sharing Black Girl Magic. We Are Quasars, Light Spirit, and we will be reading that play. And then, of course, we've got James Williams, who's had a prayer call going on for 14 years, 7 days a week. How do you do that, right? He'll share. And then, of course, we've got Demita Hicks, who does Mama Africa. And we have Aaliyah and Angela, who have created the People of the Eye Cultural and Learning Center of Pilgrim's House, Garden. I can't say enough. I don't have to, because they're going to be at the conference telling you themselves. And of course, we got Dr. Derek Smith, who talked about modernity and centering the pupil of the eye. Now, I know many of you are concerned. What about the children? Well, what about them? Well, without the they are our wings. They have to be there, and there are many different programs. We are planning. Jerry's organizing that. Calvin Terrell is going to take the youth and the young adults on Saturday and have a full day of helping them. He's saying, calling all colors to spiritual warriorship. And we want to have cooperative games. There will be, over the first 2 days of the conference, I'm calling it an immersion excursions, because I want us to relive our history, but not through the eyes of oppression, but we want to relive our history and looking at our ancestors' resilience, the strength that they had, the virtues and qualities that they had to develop in order for us to have an opportunity to live. So we're going to be looking at, so you will be going through different museums, and there's several museums that we have pointed out for the children, and we're going to try to organize those excursions with the parents. So please, when you fill out your registration, tell us what you want, because some of these spaces have limitations on how many people can come in at a time. So there's the Sankofa Children's Museum, America's first and only children's museum truly focused on African American history and cultures. And then there's the Court Discovery Children's Museum. Now, the museum features 3 floors of interactive exhibits and play areas for kids of every age, including the brand new Animation Land, which takes children through the world of animation and storytelling. Hey, I want to go there myself. Maryland Science Center. Adults and kids will dive into all things STEM at the Maryland Science Center, excavate dinosaur fossils at Dinosaur Mysteries, conduct your own science experiments or Skylab, create a new invention at the Shed, and discover the solar system at the Davis Planetarium, and more. So bring those children. Those first couple days, the Thursday and Friday, you can choose your own excursions. We'll help you connect with some friends who want to do the same. Then we're going to have cooperative games. We will be on an 800-acre lot plan. It's 800 acres, of beauty, of ponds and trees and whatever it is. That will be where the conference will be on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we're going to get outside and have fun. And then, of course, as I mentioned earlier, Calvin's going to take the 15-year-olds and 25-year-olds into a space and really speak into them. He is amazing. Now, we talked about the children. So, again, I want to talk about these cultural immersion excursions. I'm thinking past, present, and future, because that's we need to look at. I'm looking Sankofa style. So we need to look back at the resilience of our ancestors, to look back at our story, but not look back at our story with shame, but with pride and how we survived. And so on Thursday, we have just 100 tickets to the African American History Museum. You got to come early for that one. So that's going to be on Thursday. And and then, of course, on Friday, and even Monday, there'll be times for people, because the Monday program, Juneteenth, ends midday, and if people want to get some excursions, if they come in a little bit later. So we've got a self-guided tour to D.C. and Maryland on sites important to Baha'i history, those places where Abdu'l-Baha went, the places where Louis Gregory was, the places where Agnes Parsons' home, where Abdu'l-Baha says, "Hey, where's Mr. Gregory?" So there's and Mubarak. So there's a wonderful thing that Lex is planning for us, and you can go at your own pace. You can just get with some folks. And then, of course, there's many Baltimore museum options. Remember, the goal is to look at our past through the eyes of resilience. And we've got the Reginald F. Lewis Museum. We've got the National Great Blacks and Wax Museum. We've got the Benjamin Banneker Historical Park and Museum. We've got the Frederick Douglass Isaac Myers Maritime Park. We've got the Willie Carroll Jackson Civil Rights Museum. And we've got the Maryland Center for History and Culture, and we've got the Ruby Blake Culture Center. Whether it's music or history or civil rights, we've got something that should interest you to take you back into your history. And next, we have what I want to just tell you a little bit more. If you decide to come in on Thursday, Now the conference will be held at the Madonna School, and that official conference time will start, on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. But on Thursday, if you're able to come in and you're able to get one of those 100 tickets, they're hard to get, you will be able to join us at the African American History Museum. The Natural Museum, the National Museum of African American History and Culture, is the only national museum devoted exclusively to the documentation of African American life, history, and culture. It was established to promote and highlight the contributions of African Americans. And to date, the museum has collected more than 40,000 artifacts since it opened to the public in 2016. And this museum will tell the American story through the lens of African American history and culture. Now, this is America's story. This museum is open to all Americans, said Ronnie Bunch, the director. Now, they also have an Afrofuturism exhibit there now, and the conference will be focusing on that also. According to Kevin Young, of Andrew Mellon, director of the Smithsonian's National History of African American History and Culture, he says Afrofuturism tells us about how the past thought about the future and how African Americans dreamt of a world of worlds they wish to occupy and soon brought into being. You don't want to miss that. You're one of those 100 that gets those tickets. Now, that tickets to the African American History Museum is free. Some of these excursions are not free, and we'll list them later. Another one of the options on Friday is to go to the Reginald F. Lewis Museum. And they too have an Afrofuturism exhibit there. The way this says, the Reginald F. Lewis Museum is excited to partner with Gallery Myrtis and James E. to present the groundbreaking exhibition Afrofuturist Manifesto, Blackness Reimagined, for the first time in the United States. It's curated by Meredith Bandola for the 2022 Venice, and it brings together a stellar assemblage of African American artists, links, and Afrofuturism ideology to expand the notion of blackness at the intersection of technology and liberation. This existence has been conceived, as asserted by author Kevin Young in, quote, Elsewhere, the remapping of what's here, forming an alternative reality where one's freedom and humanity are found. And in objects and art, they have objects and arts dating back to 1784 to the present day. And you'll learn about the incredible accomplishments and struggles of African American Marylanders. The museum is the largest African American museum in Maryland and features more than 11,000 square feet of permanent and temporary exhibition space, a 2-story theater, classroom, an outdoor terrace, and more. Now, so that evening, we will be having a reception at the Harriet Tubman Center in Howard County, Maryland, and our sponsoring LSA, the LSA of Howard County, Maryland, will be welcoming the convention, the conference, with a nice little program, food, fun, etc. So you don't want to miss that. If you're able to come in early enough on Friday evening, you will be able to join us for that at the Harriet Tubman Center. On Friday, you might decide to go to multiple museums. You get to plan your own itinerary, is what I'm getting at. And there will be an excursion. I'm encouraging people, many of us will be going to the Blacks in Wax Museum, which houses approximately 150 figures of people from the past, like Dr. Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks, and from the present, like President Barack Obama. The museum's mission is to stimulate an interest in African American history by revealing the little known and often neglected facts of history. They use great leaders as role models for youth. Their goal is to improve race relations by dispelling myths of racial inferiority and superiority, and they support and work with community groups and schools and other organizations to provide opportunities for youth to pursue careers in the museum industry and promote economic development in the East-North Avenue corridor. Again, if you might choose to do this on your Friday, if you come in on time, and again, we will have that evening, we will be at the Harriet Tubman Center, and we will be honoring some Maryland ancestors of our own, like Albert James and Fred Myers and Dr. Austin, Lisa Webster, etc. There's many people of African descent that have made this country what it is, and we will honor them and have some special awards. Now, also, this is on Friday, as I mentioned before, we're going to have a program that is sponsored and organized by our Howard County Baha'i community. I'm so excited for them because they have been, just awesome partners in this endeavor. And we will have 3 speakers that evening. I'll, of course, be welcoming people because it'll officially bring the conference because, Thursday and Friday during the day, everybody's off and doing excursions and doing whatever. But then the conference will come together, and this will kind of be our official start as our LSA or the members of the Howard County Baha'i community welcome us to Maryland. And we got Dr. Derek Smith, who wrote Modernity and Centering the Pupil of the Eye. I will speak, I'm a poet and have started the Arise People of the Eye movement. And my son, Sean, who is a diversity officer and a professor, he's going to share some remarks. We're going to have powerful speakers, our Models of Unity Awards, where we reach out to our community and we give an award, a People of the Eye Award for those people who have been working tirelessly for justice and freedom and equity. We'll have music, we'll have poetry, we'll have dinner, we'll have our ancestors celebrate, perhaps drumming, some singing, some food, fun, and fellowship. So get in on time. And again, many of these things, we have limited tickets. I will let you know about this. I'm just saying, register early. I know this space holds less than, I think around 150 people. As I said, the other African American History Museum, 100. Many of these other ones you'll do on your own. Okay, so now, Saturday morning, so you have that nice welcome on Friday. Then Saturday, we've been looking at the past. Now we're going to go into our present. We step into our present, and we do it at a wonderful spot, the Madonna School. It's the site of the memorial of the enslaved that was created by my dear co-chair, Letha DeVay. She's a visual artist and creator of the memorial to the enslaved, and she will help us welcome you all to that space where she has taught for 30 years. So what is our mission on Saturday? This is the Arise Arise conference for people of African descent, and our friends and some of our Sodi friends, the people that are not of African descent, who have been tirelessly working in the trenches with us. It is not about those who want to just enjoy this because it sounds like fun. This is celebrating those who are in, because we're not teaching others, we're celebrating together. So our mission on Saturday is to focus on our identity, which is the key to restoring our dignity and wholeness. We will reunite with family and friends. We will report on our successes. We will recharge through knowledge of our spiritual station, the healing presence of each other, and the power of the Holy Spirit. Hopefully, this will help us to recommit to the spiritual and material progress of our families and our communities. We will have cooperative games and walks and meditation time to help me do that. I will be awesome. So talking about the spiritual destiny of the people of African descent, helping out. You keep hearing me say, pupil of the eye, pupil of the eye. What is that? Well, I'll talk about that. And what is our role in creating a society based on divine principles? I'll use a few techniques from my Christian inquiry training. And then we have Todd Ewing, who will talk about community building and the dark-skinned people of the world. Of course, then we have Jerry Peak coming in, and she will talk about how do we bring spirituality and science or the data together to transform ourselves and our communities. She'll explain this as well as share a few liberatory practices and perhaps share how we can counteract the growing epistemicide practices of erasing our history. And of course, we have James Williams, who has put together a prayer call, a virtual prayer call when people weren't even online. And he has kept that going for 14 years, 365 days a year. So we'll hear from him from a few words. No fits and starts there. He just started and it's continuing to go on. That's Saturday. Now what's going to happen Saturday night? All right. This Saturday night, we're going to have a celebration. We're going to have a gala. All fun, we can't have all fun and no work, right? I mean, all work and no play, right? So we're going to go to the beautiful Reginald F. Lewis Museum. We'll have food there, we'll have music, we'll have some awards, and we are going to get to dress up and see us. We could and celebrate our Black culture, our faith, and freedom. We're going to just take some time out to go in and dance and get the music and fun and food. I hope you are able to join us. This too, we have a limited number of spaces. We may have to subsidize this one right now. We have to use their caterers, and it's about $50 a person for that. On top of the expense of actually renting the space, there's an auditorium where we'll have the speakers and those three speakers. We're going to have one of course, Olitha Devane, who is of course a visual artist and works with these people and has made these connections for us. She'll be sharing a little bit, and then we'll have Calvin Terrell. If you have not heard Calvin, you are missing out, and you got to be here for that evening. He's going to talk about black hole, not black hole like HLE, but wholeness, WHOLE, eliminating white lies with black truth. And we are fortunate, as one of the people that are part of the museum, we have Dr. Leslie King Hammond. She will speak to us. And she is a art historian, an artist, and curator who worked on Kindred by Octavia Butler for Hulu. And she'll be speaking on Afrofuturism. And of course, that exhibit will be there in that museum. So some people, after we have have dinner and we have the talk, some people will walk around the museum if they didn't get there earlier in the day. And then some people may want to dance a little bit. Some people may want to eat and chat. Whatever it is, we're taking care of you. There'll be powerful speakers, some molecules of Unity Awards, some music, some poetry, some ancestor celebrations, some drumming, some singing, the Afrofuturism exhibits, and of course, as I mentioned before, the museum tour. Yeah, that's just Saturday. What happened? Is it over? No. You join us back on Sunday morning, where we will talk about how we're participating in social action and the discourse around Black families' health and well-being. We want to focus on restoring the nobility, the wholeness, and happiness in our people, about repairing the damages done to our identity, our psyche, our health, our economy, and our esteem. And we are going to be recommitting to serving our communities and humanity. We've been told in our Baha'i writings that we are to be anxiously concerned with the needs of the age you live in, and to center your deliberation on its exigencies and requirements. That's what Baha'u'llah told us. We're listening. And to help us do that, we're going to, and of course, as I mentioned, or didn't mention earlier, this site that we're on was, Madonna was a slave owner. And that memorial, the picture you see there on the upper left, is one that Olitha Devane, my co-chair, created. A living memorial on that same, that 800 acre that probably was a plantation. Now it's housing a school, and we get to come in and celebrate ourselves as we look at our past, our present, and our future. To help us do that, I've got my daughter, Radiance Talley, who's a journalist at Baha'i Teachings, and she's going to speak on hostile sexism and the endangerment of Black women. Sue St. Clair, a psychiatric nurse in energy medicine, she will be speaking about mental health. Her work addresses a person's physical, emotional, spiritual, and psychological needs, and how we can heal ourselves. Are we waiting for other people to heal us? We're going to stay sick. Then we got dear Tadia Rice, who's just won an award, a Ken's Award, for her Beyond Bars Prison Women Speak documentary. She will share that, as well as follow up with a panel discussion on the impact of incarceration on Black families and how we should respond to this escalating American issue that criminalizes so many people of color. And then my dear friend, Dr. Keturah Felix, who's a physician, a podcast host, an activist, and a student at Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health in the Department of Health and Management, and she focuses on medical racism and justice in healthcare. She started her podcast, Ground Speed, to look at inequity through Black women's eyes. And then, of course, we got dear Aaliyah and Angela, who are the co-creators, two of the three co-creators of the Pupil of the Eye Cultural and Learning Center. OMG. Speaking of social action, these ladies have put down roots to educate and serve their community. From a learning site and community garden to a pilgrim lodging house or helpers, they're getting it done. And then we can't talk about educating and leave out Michael O'Neill. He's the executive director of Parent University, and it is spreading around the country. It's a community collaborative that supports families with services, resources, and educational opportunities for parents. The initiative has expanded to several cities around the country. That's just Sunday. That's just Sunday day. Now, what are we going to be doing in the evening or late afternoon? Well, we got Dr. Mary Toya Okonkwo, and in her PhD, her dissertation, she created a 3-act play, a play about exploring the physics of Black girlhood becoming quasars. I've always heard it's darkest before the dawn, and this luminary experience that she'll share with you will help you to see that. So she's going to explore the physics of Black girlhood stories, and the use of celestial metaphors to explore the physics of Black girlhood, specifically the traumatic aspects, with the ultimate goal to provide a way to transcend trauma with the dedicated use of imagination and creation of new neuronal pathways to a place of redemption. So we're going to talk about that. There will be audience participation as part of this. There will be visual presentations so we can see the galactic stuff, as she's saying. We're made of stardust. And that will be in the evening there at the Gun School. We may change it to the afternoon, but we'll see. But anyway, it's Sunday. That's one thing I know for sure at this moment. Now, you will exhale a little bit, but then on Monday, June 19th, we are going to have a Juneteenth celebration. This one will be open to the public, where, friends and families can come and share in that. We've got Sandy Simmons, a renowned composer and singer from Los Angeles. She's going to share a few songs of faith and hope and inspiration. We've got Dr. Joy, the group. Joy was there at the first Arise, and she arises to support me. I am so grateful to Joy. And she's the author of Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. And it's a theory that explains the etiology of many of the adaptive survival behaviors in African American communities throughout the United States and the diaspora. And of course, we'll have Demita Hicks. She has developed a wax painting technique for controlling the painting with crayon, and she will share her unique Mama Africa and Black butterfly art. We'll have powerful speakers, Models of Unity Award. We'll have music and poetry and drumming and ancestor celebration, some light refreshments, and then we'll have our conference reflections as we bring our 4-day our 5-day conference to an end by 3 p.m. on Monday, June 10th. So friends, this is what I have been planning for you. I'm so excited to be able to bring this to you. Again, I'm asking that you support this conference. Now, there's a couple ways you can support this conference. If you are People of the Eye, reach out to your friends and family, bring them there, because we're going to look at the past, we're going to look at the present, we're going to look at the future, and we're going to do this together in a space where you don't have to worry about, impressing others, that being validated. This is a FUBU space for us, by us. I am hoping that you will consider coming in person. We will offer a virtual option. You'll get that information later. I'm just trying to get this part, now, here's, friends, now I have an appeal for you. My goal is to, when you invite somebody to your house, you want to feed them, you want to pick them up from the airport, you want to make sure that you transport them where they need to be. You want their stay. You want to show the utmost hospitality. But when you're bringing in a couple hundred folks, it's a little bit more difficult to do all of that with a very, very limited budget. So I'm asking you to be generous. Be extremely generous. Reach deep, because if you, I do not, you're going to notice with this registration that accompanies this, that I'm not asking for a specific amount. I did a pre-registration survey to ask what people could afford, what they couldn't, because I do not ever want to do a conference where people who really need to be there cannot afford to come. So please dig deep. People are asking for support with even getting to the conference, with flight, with hotel. Although we're focusing really locally, we want people to be able to come that need to be here. So if you can give a little extra, please do so. Some people have a lot, some people have little, and some people have nothing. Can you imagine how much it is to feed a couple hundred people a meal? We got 5 meals we'd like to. If we cannot get the money, then it will be meals on your own. But I would love to show you some Maryland hospitality where you just come to the space and you sit down and we take care of you. So if you're one of those people that's not a pupil of the eye, and you're saying, gosh, this doesn't seem to be the conference that's for me, but I would like to be able to be part of the healing and nurturing, encouraging of people of African descent, and I would love to support this conference, so I'm going to give generously financially to make it happen. And those of you that are of African descent, and you have the resources, I implore you also to be able to help. You see, remember, there's a lot to this conference. There's a lot of moving pieces. I start off with no budget, but I've got a lot of people that are helping, and of course, we put appeals out to different people so that there's not a burden on any particular individuals. But I want you to remember that this is for us, and we need to take care of ourselves. So I'm looking so forward to you. Maryland is looking forward to you. My co-chair, Olitha Devane, and the Howard County Baha'i LSA and community is looking forward to welcoming all of you to Maryland, to the Arise 5 Conference, June 15th to the 19th, 2023. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you soon.